Why hello everybody, it has been a very long time indeed. I just needed a quick break from YouTube for a little while. Replay is just doing its thing. I'm getting tired of sitting at a rendering screen, so I'm thinking time lapses are going to be a thing of the past. So I'm going to make some different types of content. Types where I'm just recording and talking, kind of like this. So even though I haven't made a video in a while, that doesn't mean I haven't been building. So I'm going to show you the 4 main areas that I have been building the past couple weeks. If we look at the current map, the 4 areas that I'm going to show you today is first this new bridge area. I have built a new bridge. The second area is right over here. I started building the government district where City Hall and all of that good stuff is going to be. And then I started planning our new cargo port. I haven't built any structures yet. This is all just lines, but I will show you that in all of the planning that I have done for this. And where a majority of my building the past couple weeks have been is this area over here, which is just south of Pu'uniu, which is our Coconut Bluffs area. Yeah, I'm gonna show you this. This looks pretty crazy on the map, and it's even crazier in person. So let's get right into it. Alrighty, so rewinding the clock all the way back to January. This is an old replay file, and here is that old bridge that I built probably like 3 years ago now. It was built in an old texture pack, not even built in Greenfield pack, so that's kind of why the block choice doesn't look very good. And this bridge just, I don't know, these little supports, they look too skinny. Like, I don't know, I just hated this bridge. So this is the old bridge, and another thing that I also changed is over here, right here. This swing lane right here is very, very bad. So we have this entrance and then an exit all within like 20 blocks of each other, which is a big no-no. So I did end up fixing this when I built the new bridge. And then, yeah, it was this whole ramp right here kind of got reworked because there's just like a random flat spot here, a slope, like, I don't know, I reworked this ramp and built a new bridge. So this is what it looks like in early January. Let's go check out what it looks like today. This is the new bridge. So I went with a cable stayed design. I felt like it was a lot more elegant. I'm hoping it's not too tall because we are really close to the airport, so hopefully no planes hit this bridge. I do have the blinking red lights on top, so hopefully they see it. But yeah, this bridge just looks so much better than the last one. Much more elegant, and it looks really, really good with the skyline behind it. Like, oh, just look at this. It's beautiful. This bridge also has a lot more detailing underneath it. I added these little navigation lights so boats know where to pass underneath. I also added, these are called dolphins, so we don't have another Francis Scott Key Bridge incident. The boat will end up hitting those instead of our main support pillar. So yeah, hopefully that's enough. I didn't want to over-engineer it, but yeah, hopefully that's enough. Fingers crossed. And yeah, just has a lot more detail than the old bridge. I did better, different style lighting fixtures, and then I also went on a side quest and redid every single highway sign across the city. So they actually have exit numbers, and they all go somewhere, which is pretty cool. Took a long time, but it started here at the bridge. And then we also have a pedestrian path, which kind of snakes its way down into there. And we also have a train line, which is going to ride up here in the middle and go to the airport and the cruise terminal. So yeah, that is the new bridge. Let's go take a look at that new swing lane that got fixed, which is way over here. So what I ended up doing was this exit, instead of merging right into here, I just extended it way down to here, and then it goes underneath this pass and then has its own merge. And then this ends up having its own exit back here. So that way it just separates all the merging. You only have one merge happening here going off, and then one merge happening up there for the people getting on. So it kind of separates it out. Didn't take too long, and then I regraded this ramp to be way more smooth, and it's like 5 blocks lower than it used to be. And yeah, I also kind of went crazy and started filling in the areas around it with some buildings. All of them are pretty much on a diagonal and are beautifully landscaped. I wanted all of this area to be pretty lush because we are right next to historic Matadora, so some of those buildings are going to spill out over here. Then you're also going to have some more modern buildings like this that was built recently. And we also have this big mixed-use mid-rise, has a parking garage, offices, imagine some retail storefronts on the bottom floor here. And we have a bunch of condos on top with their own little pool deck, bar area, pretty nice mixed-use area. And then we got a big loading dock in the back for all of that good stuff and deliveries and all that stuff, yeah. And I also did a few more filler buildings over here. I got really cool looking gas station, which I went all in and did some interior on. Thought this was pretty fun. It was a very small space, so it only took like maybe 15 minutes to interior this. So I was like, screw it, let's give this little gas station some interior, and I kind of like it. It turned out really good. What the I stands for? No idea, but this is becoming a gas station chain around the city now. And yeah, this building right here is also new. This is also new. And this right here is also new. Just to fill in some of the space, this was like the last block that I guess is technically in Rivergate that needed to be filled in, so we got this building done. And we also added a metro mover station underneath the highway. This one's a very small, kind of tucked away in the corner station. It's not very elegant, but gets the job done. Figured I would just put a little stop there, because why not? And yeah, that is pretty much all I did in this bridge area. It was quite a bit. I spent maybe like a week or two just grinding over here, redoing the bridge and building these buildings. I was going to make a time lapse of all of this, but that's when Replay Mod decided it doesn't want to render things anymore. And I also just didn't feel like sitting in front of a loading screen for hours on end. So we're going to do it this way instead. But moving on to the second area of the map that I've been working on recently, and that is the government district. So right here on the screen you can see I have the master plan for the new government area. Pretty much has quite a bit if we look at it. So I still have to build the criminal and civil court. I still have to build the police department and municipal and records area. I have to build the church because I wanted to have a nice like cathedral style church. Things I have built though. I have built City Hall and some of the offices. So let's go take a look at that. So here is the new City Hall. Took me probably about a week to build and figure out. I tried to get a lot of detail, but not over detail, because I don't like builds that have too much detail in them. I don't know, it just looks too busy, but I wanted it to have some detail as kind of like an older style build. And we got this really cool Spanish Mediterranean style clock tower, which I think looks really good. But this was actually not the first thing in the municipal area that I built. The first thing I built was actually this right here, which is this kind of brutalist inspired government office. I don't know, I feel like all government offices for some reason are in a brutalist style because it's very fortress like, you know, no one can really, it's limited access. The only way you can get in is through this front corridor here. But I don't know, I decided to make a really cool little brutalist looking plaza. I don't know, I think it turned out really cool. Can't wait to maybe someday interiorize all of this. It's not going to happen anytime soon, but we got floors and elevators and stuff. So it's not completely empty, but no furniture is in any of these builds. But yeah, continuing down this way, then I built, I think, City Hall next. And then after that, across the street, we got the Matadora Family Court. So all those people that need to pay child support, this is where they're going to come to. Again, no interior. It's just, I got walls, floors, and elevators. That's about it. Yeah, back here we basically got a parking lot for the family court, and this is going to be another parking lot, but I just haven't built it yet. This area is still very much a work in progress. And then over here we got a metro mover station for the government area. Gotta have one for all the government workers. conveniently right next to the parking garage of the family court. And right next to that, we have the fire department headquarters, which is also doubling as a fire station. So this is Matadora Fire Department post number 1. So all of your fire investigators, all your fire marshals, all the fire department people, their offices and headquarters are going to be here. Same thing, I have stairs and all the floors and stuff laid out, just no furniture yet. And I'm pretty sure the actual place where the fire trucks go is also still empty, but everything has a layout at least. Just, it's ready for details, just details aren't there yet. But all of the outdoor details I tried to do, I got these little emergency signals that they constantly flash yellow, but then when a fire truck needs to leave, they turn red. And yeah, so all the exteriors are very well detailed. And that is pretty much all I have of the government area. I got bored of building this area very quickly. Government offices are pretty boring, but the only things that are left to do in the government area, this big block of land is going to be the criminal civil court, which is like the big grand courthouse that everybody thinks of, where they have the big trial that is televised on TV and stuff like that. Across the street in this little triangle plot, I'm probably just going to do a modern government office. So that one's going to be brutalist, this one will be more modern. Maybe I'll make it like 5 or 6 floors. I don't want to make it too tall, but something a little bit taller, maybe glass. This area right here is going to be interesting. I want to make an old cemetery that has like burials of past presidents and stuff. I don't know, I thought that would be pretty cool and kind of like sacred ground, I don't know. And then this little thin strip of land is where I'm going to make that cathedral, because I feel like it's really the only thing that realistically would fit here. And then I'm going to put a park in behind it with some trees and some nice landscaping, and maybe I'll put some on-street parking. You know, I'll make this area look pretty nice, but right now it's pretty bland. And then this big grass plot is where the police station is going to go, the headquarters for the police. We're going to have a municipal court, a records office, a whole bunch of stuff, and probably just a few more offices. But the government area will pretty much end at this roundabout, and then everything that way will be typical Matadora. So yeah, I would say the government area is maybe a third of the way done. But yeah, we got quite a bit. And with the power of editing, we have teleported. We are now in the new area of where the cargo port is going to be, and it may look quite a bit different than what it used to look like. So let's take a look at what it used to look like, because it did not look like this just a few weeks ago. Alright, so we are now on an old backup of Matadora, and where I was just standing was like right around here, and this is what that area used to look like. It was completely wooded over, the terrain was super duper slopey. So let's go take a look at what it used to look like, because my computer does not like this backup. It hasn't loaded it in a few months, and it's pretty laggy. But this kind of gives you an idea of what this area used to look like. The highway used to just end right there. Yeah, it was a pretty remote wilderness out in the port area. Let's go take a look at what it looks like now. Alrighty, back to current day in the very same area. And this is what we have now for the port area. All of the trees have been removed. The terrain has been smoothed out. All of this area is going to be industrial warehouses, so a lot of the roads are a little bit wider, less pedestrian friendly, because this is a industrial area. And I have a very nice little interchange here for the trucks coming out of the port to get onto the highway. And hopefully this swing lane here isn't too bad, because there is going to be a lot of trucks coming in and out. Not a traffic engineer, but hopefully this works well. Another thing I added is, so the highway used to stop pretty much like right about here-ish. So I extended it, obviously, and we have a new bridge in the city. Although this one is a lot more basic than our cable-stayed bridge that is way over there in the distance. So this new bridge is just one of these very basic pier and like pillars and beams. It's just like a little bit of an arch bridge, but it's just steel beams that are doing the arches. It's a very utilitarian bridge. It's not supposed to be fancy. its entire purpose is to get trucks and freight and traffic from that side to this side. So I didn't make this one very fancy because it is going to be very industrial over here. So I wanted to keep that industrial look with a more utilitarian bridge. And let's go ahead and take a look at the map. And then, so this is what I have for the layout so far. And then this is the master plan for the port area. So as you can see, we have that giant bridge over here to the right. And then all of this over here is going to be kind of like our hazmat area, our dangerous chemical imports, because Matadora is an island, so we are basically importing everything. All of the yellow lines are going to be future train lines. The trains aren't really going to go anywhere. It is sole purpose are to transport large volumes of freight to the warehouse district, which is just on the other side of the highway. So that way trucks don't have to make those super short trips just right over there. They can hop on a train car and get over there rather than clogging up our highways. So the train lines aren't going to be very long. They don't we're not really exporting a whole lot here in Matadora. We just export like fruit and stuff. Speaking of fruit, all of these orange buildings and stuff down here is going to be our food and grain imports, because we do import a lot of food. We don't really produce much here on the small island of Matadora. And the blue building next to it is going to be refrigerated goods. And then all of the red buildings are going to be headquarters for the Matadora Port Authority, which is what MPA is. All of the different gates and inspection buildings and all that good stuff is going to happen in those red buildings. And then these big dark red spheres are going to be fuel storage. So giant liquid fuel, all sorts of liquid chemicals, stuff that are needed to survive on an island. None of that is built yet, but let's go ahead and take a look at what has been built. So all the way on the right side of the map that you just saw, we have the train lines, which are outlined in pink. Eventually they're going to go under the highway and go feed freight and stuff to the warehouses that are going to be right over there. Right here is going to be the hazmat dock where all of those hazardous materials come in. And then right here is going to be a fueling station for the big boats. And then all of this flat area is going to be all of the shipping container storage. So it's going to be stacked up pretty tall. That's going to be like the stereotypical thing that people think of when a cargo port. And then where these big yellow stripy bits are, this is where the quay cranes are going to be, which are those giant blue cranes that unload from the ships. And I will probably end up having to build a big cargo ship, at least one, on the shore here, but that's a project for another time. But basically this big stretch right here is for all of the trucks leaving the main cargo area, and then this big red line is going to be an inspection booth or some sort of like x-ray scanning machine. I don't know what I'm going to build, but some sort of like security gate before the trucks leave and go into Matadora. And then over here is going to be the food imports for the city. I decided to build the food area closest to the cruise port because, I mean, the cruises also need food. They usually refuel the food at all of their stops. So it's not very far distance to get the food to the cruise area. And I also didn't want to put heavy hazmat chemicals right next to a cruise ship. So I put the hazmat chemicals way over there, and we're going to keep the food next to the cruise ship because I feel like food is better to look at than hazmat chemicals. But I'm also going to try and block all this off with some greenery, so that way if you're on a cruise ship you don't see the gross industrial port right behind it. But yeah, that is kind of my vague general plan for this area. The port you saw kind of ends right here at this road, so all of this blank area back here is just going to be warehouses and maybe not a whole lot of factories. We don't really produce a whole lot in Matadora because we're mainly a tourist destination. But it's going to be some warehouses and a few industrial things on this island. This mini island right here is kind of like all industrial. It's where our port is, the airport. There'll be very little hotels and resorts on this island, so it's going to be very, very industrial. So all of this was just kind of laying the groundwork, so that way whenever I do feel like building the industrial area, there's already roads and the terrain's already flattened. Most of the hard work is already done. All I gotta do is build the warehouses now. So that concludes what I've done at the port, and now let's go check out the final area of the city that I've been building in lately. Alrighty, so on my last video, I built the interior of the convention center, which is right here, kind of on the edge of downtown. But I have started building a lot of new stuff right across the highway from it. And as you can see, I have built quite a bit. I went a little crazy, let's just say the least, a little crazy. Almost everything over here is built on a diagonal, and we got some high rises mixed in, nothing too crazy. I don't want anything too tall, pretty much from here on that way. I don't want anything too crazy tall. So this is basically what 80% of the island is going to look like once Matadora is finished. It is all going to be very dense, 1 to 2 stories at most, and just very tropical feeling. That's kind of the vibe I want for Matadora, is to feel like this. A lot of mixed use. I don't want like it to be super car centric, so we're gonna have bike paths and bus lanes and sidewalks and train stations and all sorts of other modes of transportation. And I kind of want things to just be very mixed use and walkable, what America should be but isn't. Another thing that I'm gonna do is zoning is gonna be different. I'm gonna have coffee shops in the middle across the street from single family residential. We usually don't see that in America, but in Matadora you're gonna see it. So yeah, I decided to get jump start on this type of city building because 80% of Matadora is going to look like this. Like, look at all of this space, and if we look at a map, all of this over here is going to be similar to what we have going on here. If you look at the map, downtown is only a small portion of our entire map. So most of the island is going to look kind of like this. So I figured I would get a head start on it because that's a lot of building to do. So I do want to highlight this build a little bit. This is a new chain in our city called Mackay Mart. Thanks to ChatGPT giving me this name, so I literally told it to give me a Hawaiian-inspired grocery store name, and this is what it spat out. So Mackay means towards the sea, and then I just put Mart on the end of it. So this is going to be a new chain in our city. It's not a very big box store. I want a lot of the box stores in our city to be very compact like this. Very little parking, no parking minimums in the city. I want people to be able to walk here and bike here. But there is parking for those that do want to drive. Driving is just one option of many in my city. But yeah, my plans for over here, the HS stands for high school. I do want to build a high school in this area right here. I did build a weird little double roundabout to handle all of the high school traffic that's going to be coming in and out. But I also wanted to make it pedestrian friendly, so we have plenty of crosswalks and a bike path that connects to all the other bike paths. You can pretty much bike anywhere in the city. And yeah, right across from the high school is going to be a lot of duplexes, apartments, single family homes. Like these really small boys are single family homes, but we have a few over here that are some duplexes. Like this right here is a duplex because it's a bigger build. I'm pretty sure this one right here is a duplex, and then it has like an attached auto shop in the back, which is pretty cool. So a lot of mixed use builds around here. It may look like a bunch of houses, but there's other things happening inside. And yeah, I also like doing builds like this, where you just have like 3 little houses tucked away in a nice wooded corner with some water in the back. Like this is, oh, I loved building this house right here. It was fun. And there's going to be plenty more of those houses over here that are also connected up with a pedestrian path that goes to the main road, because I figured if you're living way back here in the corner and you wanted to walk to the store on the main road over there, if this path wasn't there, you would have to walk or bike on the roads way that way to come this way. And I was like, nah, I want to prioritize walking. So I put a nice little path back here to kind of shortcut all of that, get pedestrians up here faster. And then you come over here and we have more of a main road, so the buildings kind of become more commercial. We're going to have some shops on the ground floor here, but then we got 4 floors of residential above it, so keeping things very dense. Same thing here, we got some shops on the bottom with 3 or 4 floors of residential above. And basically the same for all of the buildings on this main road, but I guess with the exception of this one. This one just has a parking lot underneath, but you know, I gotta mix it up a little bit. We can't have shops lining every single building. It would just be a little too redundant. Yeah, I tried to go crazy with the foliage over here. I made a bunch of tree schematics, so we should have no shortage of trees in the area. I want to keep that lush vibe going on. And here we have another one of those gas stations, although this one does not have an inside yet, but I figured this was a good spot for a gas station right underneath the highway. But yeah, this is all of this area right here is probably about 2 weeks of on and off building. So you can imagine if all of this is 2 weeks, including this little bit up here. If all of this is 2 weeks, just imagine how long it's going to take to fill in all of this down here, the entire beach line, all of this up here, all of this is going to look kind of like this. It's going to take forever. So you probably won't be seeing very many skyscraper videos because 80% of Matadora is low rise. There's not a whole lot of skyscrapers left to be built. Hopefully you enjoyed this tour of what's been built in the past couple weeks in Matadora. I am going to try and make more videos late in the next couple weeks. They're not going to be time lapses though, because replay mod just isn't playing nice anymore, and I also just am not motivated to render footage for hours on end. So we're going to be doing more recording style videos like this one, where I will build on camera. We'll see what happens. But yeah, if you enjoyed this video, hit that subscribe button, and if you really enjoyed the video, hit a like button. I will catch you all next time for something that I don't know. We'll figure it out as we go. Catch you guys all next time. Bye!